Duma. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take those big front page stories from the Seoul Economic Daily and really unpack them for you. We try to get past the headlines straight into what it actually means.
And today, we've got three areas where things are getting, well, let's say intense. Places where government demands are high.
Yeah.
And it's creating some real friction, almost contradictions.
Exactly. So first, we're looking at a policy puzzle. Huge carbon reduction goals, the NDC, but at the same time, real hesitation about using key tech like small modular reactors, SMRs. Are we sort of setting ourselves up for a fall there?
Then we shift gears to education, a huge project aiming to, well, shake up how national universities get funded. It's introducing some pretty serious performance-based budgeting, penalties and all.
Right. High stakes. And finally, we're following the money. A really rapid shift, we're calling it capital migration. Trillions of won moving fast from bank accounts into the stock market. And new tax changes are speeding that up.
Definitely. So let's jump into that first one, energy, the big strategy mismatch. Okay, so the breaking news is about SMRs, small modular reactors. Everyone's talking about them globally, right? The next big thing for clean power.
Yeah, the game changer.
Exactly. But here, it looks very likely they're going to be left out of the designation as a national advanced strategic technology.
Left out. That sounds significant. That designation means serious support, doesn't it? R&D money, tax breaks, government backing.
It does. It's critical.
So if SMRs are so important globally, why would the administration, put the brakes on supporting them here?
Well, the official line seems to be skepticism about our own domestic SMR technology. Basically, are we really ready? Do we have proprietary tech? And it's not just talk. The SMR designation item.
Yeah.
It's apparently not even going on the agenda for the first big meeting of the National Advanced Strategic Industry Committee this month. So it's a full stop for now.
But that caution, doesn't it come with a massive risk, a big opportunity cost? When you think about AI, chips, all that advanced stuff, the power needed is just huge.
Oh, absolutely.
I read somewhere a business leader saying just running, 260,000 of the latest Nvidia GPUs. That alone needs the power of a large nuclear plant.
That's the kind of scale we're talking about. It's staggering. And industry is really emphasizing the need for stable, dense power. SMRs seem perfect for their power, that they're modular, supposed to be safer, quicker to build than the giant plants.
So the tech seems to fit the need.
But the actions suggest otherwise. Real resistance. We've seen the climate minister talking about rethinking existing power plants, right? Delaying decisions on keeping older plants like Corey 2 running, stopping searches for new large nuclear sites.
Okay, so that resistance really highlights the contradiction we mentioned at the start. If nuclear, especially these newer SMRs, is being pushed aside, how on earth are we supposed to meet those incredibly high decarbonization targets the government just announced?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? That's the core disconnect. The government just finalized the 2035 National Greenhouse Gas Reduction Goal, the NDC, and the target range is, well, it's eye-watering. 53 to 61% reduction from 2018 levels.
53 to 61%. Wow. Just for context, didn't the industry itself say even 48% was going to be incredibly difficult?
They did. Extremely challenging. And that top end, 61%, that came from IPCC recommendations. It puts Korea way out front, one of the most aggressive targets anywhere in the world.
So, okay. On one side, a world-leading climate target basically demanding a massive industrial shift really fast.
Right, in the next decade.
But on the other side, hesitation, even pushback against the main technology, nuclear and SMRs, that industry says is pretty much the only practical way to get there.
That's exactly the problem. It looks like a direct conflict in strategy.
So you have to ask, right, what's the plan? Is the administration counting on some massive sudden breakthrough in renewables that we haven't seen yet? Or are they maybe signaling that hitting that 61% target means, well, major sacrifices, less industrial growth?
Especially when you see other big players moving more cautiously. China's target is way lower, 7–10%. The U.S. has basically delayed things indefinitely. Our high goal, plus this tech hesitancy, it feels like it could lead to problems down the line, a structural issue.
Yeah, it forces companies to either find power elsewhere, maybe scale back plans, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a national advanced industry strategy in the first place.
Precisely.
Okay, so that's energy, high targets, limited tools. Let's switch to education now, another area with high stakes. Performance pressure, this making 10 Seoul National Universities project.
Right, this is a big one. A 5-year plan, over $4 trillion behind it. And the main idea is efficiency, making sure this huge pot of money doesn't just get, spread thinly everywhere like before.
So performance-based budgeting sounds like something from the business world, not usually university.
Exactly. It's basically bringing a corporate model into academia.
Rank and yank almost. So what actually happens if a university, maybe a regional one, doesn't measure up, if they consistently get poor grades under the system?
The consequences are serious. Funding is tied to annual grades, S, A, B, or C. Get the lowest grade, C, and your funding can be cut by up to 20%.
20%, that's huge.
It is. And here's the kicker. That money doesn't just disappear. It gets taken from the C-grade universities and given entirely to the top performers, the S-grade ones.
Wow. Okay, so that creates a massive incentive to perform, obviously. But doesn't it also risk making regional gaps even wider? If the weaker schools lose funding, how do they ever catch up? How does that help revitalize all regions?
That's the debate, absolutely. It's the central tension. But looking at how they plan to measure performance, it's very focused on results, tangible stuff.
Like what?
Things like world university rankings, but in specific fields. Research lab output, how many graduates get jobs at big companies, success with industry partnerships, those contract departments, and how international the university is. It's not about old reputations. It's about ROI, essentially.
Okay, so very market-driven metrics. But what's really interesting is who's pushing for this. You'd expect maybe resistance from the universities themselves?
You might think so, but apparently not entirely. We're hearing that many local university presidents actually see this as maybe their last chance to really revitalize their regions. And get this, they were reportedly the ones who first suggested the tough 20% funding cut difference.
Really? They proposed the penalty on themselves?
It seems so. It suggests there's a feeling, a consensus maybe, that the old way of just getting stable, equal funding wasn't working. It bred mediocrity. And maybe only something radical like this high competition, real risk, can force the changes needed to compete with the big universities in Seoul.
So they're embracing the risk out of desperation or maybe perceived necessity.
Seemed like it. A real pivot.
Fascinating. Okay, so from risk aversion in energy tech to embracing risk in education, let's make one more shift. Finance. Market moves. The government's easing taxes on dividend income.
That's right. Big news for investors. They were initially looking at a top segregated tax rate of 35% on dividend income. Now, to kind of boost the market, get more money flowing, they've agreed to lower that quite a bit.
How low?
The talk now is likely 25%. The idea is to match it up with the top rate for stock transfer income, make the whole package more attractive for activating the market. It's a clear signal.
And the market certainly seems to have gotten the message. We're seeing this incredible acceleration of money moving out of safe places like bank accounts and into potentially riskier assets. Stocks, this capital migration you mentioned.
Yeah, or the money move, as the source material called it. And it's happening fast, even with all the global worries about inflation, maybe an AI bubble, market swings.
Just how fast are we talking?
The speed is really the story here. Over 7.6 trillion won moved out of the banking sector and seemingly towards the markets in just 4 business days. 4 days.
7.6 trillion won. That's hard to even picture. In 4 days.
It is. To put it in perspective, that's like months worth of typical slow shifting crammed into less than 1 week. It's dramatic.
So where is it all coming from? Are people just emptying their savings account?
It seems to be 2 things, both pretty risky, looking at the data from the big 5 banks. First, debt is surging. Credit loan balances at those banks jumped by 1.14 trillion. In just those 4 days.
1.1 trillion in new loans in 4 days.
Yeah, and that increase alone is already more than the entire increase for the whole previous month.
Wow, so it's not just savings. People are actively borrowing money, using credit lines, maybe specifically to buy stocks right now. That sounds risky on a system level.
It definitely adds a layer of risk. It looks like individual investors are using things like overdraft accounts, easy access leverage to jump into the market quickly. It feels quite aggressive, maybe speculative.
Okay, so debt is one source. What's the other?
Plunging liquidity. Demand deposits, that's the money people keep handy and checking, and savings accounts dropped by 6.5 trillion, one over the same 4 days.
6.5 trillion drained out. So that plus the new debt gets us to the 7.6 trillion total.
Exactly. And the pace is remarkable. The average daily drop in those deposits was 1.7 times faster than the previous month. It's like a vacuum cleaner, sucking money out of banks and towards the market.
So you combine that rapid movement with the new tax changes making dividends more attractive. It really suggests this rush isn't just a blip. It feels like an intensifying trend, people chasing returns.
Absolutely. Investor confidence, or maybe just the fear of missing out, seems high, despite the wider economic uncertainties. The tax change gave it fuel, and the borrowing shows the desire to get in now.
It creates huge opportunities, for sure, but also amplifies the risks everywhere.
Yeah, it's clear when you look across all three areas: energy, education, finance. The government's pushing for performance, for efficiency, but it's creating these huge leverage points. Technological leverage with SMRs they're hesitant about, performance leverage in universities that could backfire regionally, and now financial leverage in the markets driving risk.
These choices being made right now, the SMR hesitation, the university funding cuts, the tax incentives, they really feel like they'll shape who wins and who loses over the next few years, whether it's energy companies, regional universities, or just individual investors.
Definitely sets the stage for what's next.
So NDC to SMR, Tallinn. 저도 라자티라 거기 그래. 그냥 요금 그래요?
No, it's okay. Agree war, currying in the world.
Hey.
As liked here, cutting it here.
Where we go?